What is the most memorable experience you had? What would you like to do first if you were? Write about the experience of failure and experience of the greatest achievement in your life and education, family.
Can you introduce yourself to the camera?
Okay. I'm going to follow your resume. You don't need a picture. Okay, education. Okay, my name is Sina Fateh. Thanks God I don't need to say my age. I moved from France to Silicon Valley 25 years ago. I'm an eye surgeon by background. I'm an ophthalmologist and had the first company in France that was acquired by a big optic company. And then I moved here. Education, I'm an MD, a medical doctor. I have an MBA from a business school in Paris. University, you don't want to know. Family, secret. Experience, a lot. This is my fifth startup, Cali. I had one in France and 4 here. 2 were okay. I didn't kill them. And 2 were acquired. One by Facebook, one by Olympus Japan. And this is hopefully going to be the 5th, not the last one. What's certificate? Language. Oh, I speak French, a little bit of English, Persian, a little bit of German and Spanish.
Okay, so this is about what Korean resume is like. You know, as a CEO, I want you to
Be honest
that what resume should be like, and yeah, and you can just say, oh, this is a bullshit, and you can say whatever you want.
Okay. No. I would be.
So this is a very typical resume. With that's the first page of resume.
In Korea.
In Korea. And.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And after that.
Education, family. Okay. Work experience, certificate.
Yeah, and then after that, they're gonna ask questions that we have in here, and you have to write essays of like several pages. And this is what a real template looks like in Samsung.
Okay. It's usually
Mm-hmm. Do you have to write this in US?
Okay. I think what I'd like to divide for you is when a startup hires and when a bigger company hires. But what I mean by startup is early stage established, startup like my company right now. In that case, resume, what I like to see is, let's say what I don't like to see. My experience, which is also most of the CEO, is you usually get it in the first 10 lines or the 20% of a resume if this is gonna fit or not. The reason for that is we don't have too much time and we know what we want. That's the way I go. The other thing we used to have here is a cover letter, which I really like, because sometimes resume, like here, is education, work experience. Okay, it's important, but I can read that in 2 seconds. But I connect the resume to the job if I have a letter who explains why this person wants to work for us. And what I like, if the person has done his homework, he or she knows what we're looking for and what we do. It's okay to have very different education, but the cover letter explains why. That makes things pretty good.
So, what is cover letter?
Cover letter is very common in US. You basically have a resume. The cover letter is why you want this job or why you're excited about this job. Because in resume, there is no room like this one.
Right.
Of, okay, I have done that, so what? Or, and basically what they say is you connect the dot between you and the position. You don't want the recruiter guess, oh, because she's done that 5 years ago, now she wants to work for this company, and then say no. You don't want them. They look for a keyword right away in the beginning. If they realize, she's talking about JavaScript, for example, an unpaid internship, which is, it's another red flag. No, why so? Because if you have few people who have been paid internship, I'm just taking that as an example. Just an example is maybe because they didn't really, there is something wrong. It's a small red flag, but it could be important in resume. to see why this person wants this job and why you are better than her, she's better than him, and he's better than me. Definitely. Cover the list. You explain basically.
So you can pick questions one by one and can you read it aloud? So you can answer, try to answer for it, or you don't really have to answer. You just say your impression about it. And this is a question that you have to write when you apply for a job.
What is the most memorable experience you have ever tried to set your own goals for yourself? Please provide as much detail as possible on the actions, thought, and result you made to overcome the difficulty in achieving your goals or the limitation you felt. I like that.
Oh, you like that?
I really like the question. No, I know it's hard to write. When I interview, I ask sort of the different. I'm not asking people to write, but I would like to know. Sorry, but what we say here is what I'm interested in, know how people solve a shitty problem. When problem happen, you want to know how people react. This is where you see the difference between different quality of people, and I think this could be a good example. I like this question.
How about next question?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. We're gonna go through questions.
What would you like to do first if you were a manager of the department you applied? Do you want to change it? No. Should I say I like or not like this question? The problem with this question is, no, I think people will never answer the right question to that. Because they will be afraid of, if I'm honest, if I tell you what I think about almost you as a recruiter, or you me, I'm not going to tell you. Here, if I know that the department is not doing well, of course I'm going to hire half of them and review the whole thing, or I'm going to do. But I think that would be a tricky question, very tricky, which is I don't like it. I don't like it.
And you wouldn't ask those kind of questions?
No, because I want questions people are comfortable, and I have a chance to get the real feedback.
How about another?
Well. Write about the experience of failure and experience of the greatest achievement in your life, and freely write about the thing you felt and learned. Please give us a brief, tender-based description. That's good.
That's good.
That's I like it. I especially like the failure, because as I said, great achievement. I can write a book about great achievement. That's okay. And they look alike. You see what is interesting in achievement? When you look, it's very similar. The failure, well, how people react with them is very different. And that's, I think, where it's rich. What I want to hear is, and not me, Silicon Valley is all about learning your failure and how you achieve it. And when I did actually a VC presentation just before coming here, but I started with say, listen, I did 5 companies, 2 didn't work, and here's the name, what happened. And they like that. Because they know that they're not going to be the first time you have a failure or even.
But here's the problem. In Korea, we say this is 자소서, which is a compound word of 2. One is 자소서, which is resume, and 소설, which is novel. So we say, so this is just a made-up story. Since it's just about writing, you can go to an institute and find out the answer, and just spend more time, just spend more money, you can get a good resume. So,
now,
yeah.
do you think people make the decision based on the novel or based on the face-to-face in Korea?
Actually, face-to-face, yeah.
You see, at the end of the day, it's going to be when you sit right there. But I know for selection, you don't want your resume being a crime. Here, what I know is when they see positive things coming from resume, makes sense, they go for it, at least to the next step. But I think at the end of the day, the marketing is as you said, is marketing. Again, people, especially recruiter, not the CEO, the job is to see tons of resume every day. It's the most interesting or boring job in the planet. Can I ask a question to all of you?
Of course.
Okay, what if you have to write this? My first question, have you did this novel yet? Have you done it?
Done for college, not for a company.
Do you have to lie a little bit?
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. How about you?
Yeah, me too.
A little bit or a little?
Little.
Oh no, she said half. How about you?
A little bit.
No, for work is the same style. Basically, you have to which area you have to increase. Is it not on the education? I assume it's more on the experience. Maybe is that the area that you try to say? Oh, I did this, I did that.
I would talk more about my growth. I've done that, but I failed. But now I'm good.
You will talk about the failure. Is it okay to talk about failure in Korea?
Oh yeah, but you have to end up positively.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. I know in Europe still not good.
Oh.
People don't expect. It's like, let me tell you how I killed 2 companies. Like, no, we don't know what. It's like bizarre. But US they start to like special investment. But it's not the only interesting thing is what is family? Is it not your parents, or if you're married, is it your or is it about your parents?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
about
it's about
parents
parents.
and your
Oh, your
siblings.
siblings. Oh, okay,
or-
okay,
Yeah.
And you have to put a picture too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my picture.
Oh, because that's also interesting. In Europe, it's the same. You have to put a
Oh,
picture.
really?
Not here. Yeah. Not
I
here.
want to know more about Europe. What
Europe is actually pretty similar to that.
Oh.
Yeah. What is important in Europe here too, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest, is the networking. We did not talk about that. Network is important, but Europe is very similar to that. At least in France and Germany, is put the picture, put your stuff, say your education, the date, big, which is my first resume. If you look at today, it's really look like this. Then between 2 of my company, a VC wanted to hire me as a venture capital. This is the first time in my life. And sorry, they look and they said, this is a piece of shit. And actually, I hired someone, paid $800, and she took the same thing and put it in a format, who was very attractive. It's you see, I like these people who are magicians. She didn't add anything. She a little, but not like, but she had to reformat it. The format is very important.
But do you also have to write an essay like that?
Yes, the cover letter. You
So
can-
cover letter.
They say lettre of motivation. That means a letter of showing your motivation. She said come. in case you didn't notice.
I didn't notice.